welcome back to a rambling podcast by another Bloody Critic. I am another Bloody Critic, Adam Schultz. I'm joined this week by my good friend Kieran Meaney.
Hi there, how's it going?
And so today we're going to, a little bit later, talk about the Transformers, which I think is everyone's favourite topic in cinema.
Is it?
I think so. I think I've seen the box office receipts. I think most people...
Oh, okay. Because I've seen the Rotten Tomatoes scores and I beg to differ. Anyway.
Yeah. But before we do that, we're going to launch right into a review of the big new release this week, Despicable Me 3. A big shout out to anyone outside of Australia who's listening to this week because you don't have Despicable Me 3.
Yay, go us.
Yeah, we got something first. And unfortunately it was this.
Yeah.
There'll be no spoilers outside of what it was outside of what was in the trailers. So.
Okay.
So we'll launch right into it. Despicable Me 3 is the follow-up, obviously, in the Despicable Me franchise.
Well done, Adam.
Yeah, despite popular opinion, it's not actually a sequel to A Bug's Life.
Oh, okay, I need to change some of my notes here. Sorry.
No, it's the third Despicable Me, so we follow up. Gru is still trying to be a super spy.
Yep, he's
at the start.
Turned good.
He's turned good, but he soon runs into complications with that when he's fired from his job as an anti-villain agent.
Yep.
And meets up with his long-lost twin brother Drew, who
is also played by Steve Carell.
Yes.
For comedic effect, I think.
Yes, and hijinks ensue. There's minions, there's little girls, there's all the stuff that are in all the other Despicable Me.
There's unicorns.
Of course there's unicorns. And I think it was the weakest of the Despicable Me movies.
Yeah,
not counting Minions, which is the spin-off. That one was woeful, but outside of that, I think it was the weakest.
Yeah.
Didn't have the belly laughs.
No,
the other two,
yeah,
and we'll go into that in a bit more detail. But yeah, I think it was just a bit weaker.
Yeah, I mean it's still a good hour and a half of the movies. I enjoyed it. I got a few laughs out of it.
Yeah.
And certainly all the children in the cinema with me seemed to really enjoy it.
Yeah, well, I guess that's the main thing.
Yeah, I mean you're certainly ticking the boxes for your target audience there.
Yes. But so we'll move on. The film stars Steve Carell in the roles of, as you mentioned, Gru and Drew.
Yep.
Which was it's an interesting thing. He does some fun things with the voice of Gru, Steve Carell.
Yeah.
He plays around with it a bit.
Yeah. And I was actually pretty impressed by the way that he managed to, because they're twin brothers, have the same voice and yet just managed to sort of inflect them differently so that you could tell them apart and yet they still sounded the same.
Yeah, Drew was slightly less harsh.
Yeah, I think he sort of had that
Gru.
more giddy, almost English accent.
Yes.
Whereas Gru was still is very much. I don't know, what do you call Gru's accent?
I'm not sure. It's sort of got elements of the Transylvanian old school movie villain style.
Yeah.
It's just every European accent rolled into one, I think, which that's about par for villains in Hollywood anyway. So.
Yeah, no.
A few other people I wanted to mention in the cast. Trey Parker of South Park fame played the villain of this movie, Balthazar Bratt. I felt like if you have someone like Trey Parker's such a talented voice artist.
Yeah.
Like he's literally a voice artist, and they didn't really give him that much to stretch himself with. Yeah,
I thought, for someone who's supposed to be the major villain, the major plot point, they didn't really give him that much screen time, that much to do.
Yes.
And half of his lines were, "I've been a bad boy," which just made me cringe after the second one.
Yeah, so they went for a catchphrase thing.
Yeah.
I'm not sure catchphrases work in the modern era.
No. So
but
I would agree with that.
There are also a few big names that sort of had small roles that were more or less. There was returns of actors like Steve Coogan and Julie Andrews, who'd been in previous installments and had more to do, but this time they sort of had cameos.
Yeah.
Jenny Slate, who's been in every animated movie that's come out ever, I think, has about 3 lines in this movie as the new head of the AVN.
Oh yes, yeah.
So that
it almost seemed unnecessary.
Yeah.
In the end.
Yeah, there's a lot of talent in this film that
it's underused.
Yeah,
really.
that's all underused. It's the Steve Carell show.
Yeah.
Once again.
Yeah.
I mean, Kristen Wiig is fine as returning as Lucy.
Yep. Gru's wife.
Yes.
From Despicable Me 2.
Yes.
Yeah.
That basically covers the cast. I think there were things that worked in this movie, and I think one of the things that worked, which I didn't envision myself saying this line last week, one of the things that worked was the minions.
Yes.
Now the minions can be overexposed in the modern day, just a tad. I think if anyone's ever been to the cinema when any movie by this Illumination Studios who make Despicable Me comes out, and you're forced to sit through 7 or 8 ads about minions turning off their phones in the cinema.
And even just when the Illumination logo comes up at the start, we get 2 fart jokes before the movie's even started this time around, and I was starting to get a bit worried at that point.
Yeah, but what they do with the minions here in sort of separating them from the main plot, and we just cut to them every now and again. There's basically a mini movie of the minions.
Yeah.
And then you cut back to the main story, which is mostly minion free.
Yeah. And I think it worked.
And that works. If you were listening to the episode I did last week with Michael Wilson, you'll hear we sort of compared the minions in a way to the Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
In that the Looney Tunes were designed to sort of operate within these 2 or 3 minute short films, and that worked for what they were. And then we went into they went into feature films, and it didn't quite work as well.
Yeah, I mean, when you start trying to develop those characters a little bit too much, it sort of almost takes away from it. The comedic effect, I think. Yeah,
and the same thing happens, I think, with the minions. I think if you get a small dose of minions, they can be hilarious. They're slapsticky. They're fun. They've got their little quirks.
And they cross-dress occasionally.
They cross-dress. They chase fruit.
Yeah.
They do all that stuff. And then some of the movies have tried to push them too far in.
Yeah.
And it just hasn't worked as well.
No, but I quite liked just the idea of the whole minions subplot in this one, where they want to be villains. They want to be minions to a supervillain. And Gru's there turning good, and then they sort of revolt and antics ensue.
One of the biggest laughs I did get out of this movie was when they were showing the slideshow of Gru doing villainous things, and they'd all cheer, and then it would cut to him doing something mundane like mowing the lawn or picking up dog poo, and they'd all boo.
Yeah, I did enjoy that.
I think that line in particular made me laugh a lot, or scene, I should say.
Yeah. I don't know. I quite enjoyed just all the scenes when they were in prison. Actually, and they're walking along, and they've got the whole group, and they're doing this.
Yeah, the West Side Story thing.
That's the one. Yeah, that made me laugh.
Yes. So the minions were easily the highlight of this film.
Yeah.
I think. Also, anytime the 3 girls appear in this movie.
Yeah.
To me, that really
they had some great moments. Agnes on her hunt for the unicorn.
Oh yes.
That was a nice little feel-good moment.
Yes. So was there anything else that really worked for you?
Yeah. I know that pretty much covers the. Like, I found it was consistently funny.
Yeah.
There weren't any extended periods where I just hadn't laughed in a while. I found that was me. So I enjoyed it. And it was a very funny movie, and I found that the comedy was consistently there, even if the plot maybe was lacking in areas.
So we'll move on. Some of the things that didn't work for me. I think you said there was consistently laughs throughout, and there are. But the other Despicable Me's, I remember there was always those big belly laughs you get in the middle, and those were missing this time around.
Yeah.
They weren't there at all. I think looking back, I even found like some highlight clips from the original movies and was watching them afterwards, and just how much harder I laughed at like the scene in the first Despicable Me where he's meant to have created a dozen cookie robots. And instead you get a dozen boogie robots. They're just dancing around.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's a stupid joke and it makes no sense, but just the way they play it is brilliant. And this movie just lacks anything that punches quite that well in the laughs department, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, comedy's hugely subjective anyway, so it's going to be different for everyone.
Yeah. But no, I think I agree. Like, I found I didn't laugh hard. I was giggling constantly, just that's funny, but never that sort of knee slapping sort of laughs that I definitely got in the first one.
I think another thing which I noticed, I'm not sure if you picked up on this, a lot of the jokes in this movie weren't so much jokes as, hey, look at this reference to that other movie Illumination Studios made.
Yeah, there was quite a few of those.
Yeah,
I did pick up on.
And I was like, that's not a joke. That's a plug.
Yeah. Yeah, and just the number of 80s references.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why you would go for that era when most of your target audience and a fair chunk of your target audience's parents weren't alive at that point.
Yeah.
Like, I'm 26, I could, in theory, have a kid at this point. I know lots of my friends have kids. None of us were alive in the 80s.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of the if it weren't for my sister being a massive fan of 80s television for some reason, I wouldn't have picked up on a lot of the jokes, or at least the the one-liners that they've stolen from the A-Team or Knight Rider or something.
Yeah. See, things like that, I think, are and there's a lot of things like that in movies at the moment, which have all come out of Guardians of the Galaxy, which was such a big smash hit that a lot of the things they did, which included throwback references to the 80s, seem to have been picked up by every other movie, and this one does that as well.
Yeah, I did notice that the soundtrack was a little bit borrowed from Guardians, and Gru and Balthazar Brat definitely have at least one dance-off. Or a dance fight, I think it is.
Yeah, it was. They were watching Guardians of the Galaxy while writing this.
Yeah,
come to think of it.
I definitely got that.
Yeah. But
yeah. One of the other things that didn't quite work for me was they were quite obviously trying to go for the emotional punch with Kirsten Wiig's character Lucy Wilde trying to be Mum, and I think she says about 4 or 5 times throughout the course of the movie, I still haven't got the hang of this mum thing. But they never actually showed her not having the hang of it. It was just her saying it, and then she immediately passes whatever parenting problems just come up to Gru, and he takes care of it. And
you almost needed a scene where she was trying.
Yeah, where she tries and she messes it up, and then she talks to Gru afterwards like, oh no, I haven't got the hang of the mum thing. Like, I feel like they could have played that a lot better and it would have had that bigger emotional punch at the end.
They could have. I mean, overall though, I don't think this was a bad movie. Certainly not the worst animated film I've seen.
Oh no, absolutely not. Like,
that's Trolls.
Oh, don't get him started.
We've done that last week.
No, I certainly still enjoyed the movie. It just didn't have that Pixar level sort of
there were bits
heart behind it.
There were bits that sort of strayed too far into silliness.
Yeah.
Outside of there's a difference between comedy and silliness. Yeah. And I'm big on that. So, like, you can have comedy that's silly, but you never should branch into silliness. Yeah. Which sometimes it did in this movie. Like this car chase after they stole a lollipop
I'd forgotten about that.
I zoned out in that scene, to be honest. I was just But no, it's not a bad film.
No.
I'm going to give it a score now.
Yep.
I think I'm going to give it... I might give it a 3.5.
Yeah.
Oh, actually not 3.5. 3.15. That was a bit too high, come to think of it. 3.15.
Yeah, I was going to aim for the 3.4, 3.5 sort of range. I don't know. I don't think I'm as critical as another Bloody Critic over here, so...
Yeah. Yeah, there were just little bits that annoyed me, and it's just... At this point, it's a franchise that I think has run out of too many ideas.
Yeah.
It's just treading water.
I did read that Steve Carell was not keen to do another Gru-focused movie, but he was happy to cameo in any spin-offs. So with any luck, we won't get another Minions, but...
Well, even then, I don't know who you spin off with.
Yeah. Yeah, it gets a bit hard at this point.
Yeah. Oh, we'll see what they do. So that's our Despicable Me review. Okay, so before we start this next segment, I want to just tell a little story. I remember once I was on Facebook and there was an article popped up on one news site. I forget which one. I'm not going to give them a plug anyway if I'd remembered. And it popped up and they were talking about Star Wars. Rogue One was coming up. They were talking about Star Wars. And I made a comment underneath that I was happy that Star Wars were trying new things. It was just before Rogue One. I was happy for Star Wars to try new things to break the formula. So that you don't get things that end up as horrible in one note as, say, the Transformers franchise. Now, someone called me out in the comments underneath this comment. Someone called me out and said, Transformers an easy target. And it is. It's a big, dumb action movie that makes billions of dollars. It's an easy target to pick on. But he said, would you do any better if you had that franchise? So I thought it might be fun today with Transformers The Last Night coming out this upcoming week, which almost certainly won't be the last of the Transformers movies. I thought it would be a fun exercise today to just sort of talk about this series and what we'd do differently if we were in charge. I think you and I have often spent times talking about different media and what we'd do differently or how we'd present stories.
Doctor Who mostly,
Doctor
I think,
Who
in our
mostly.
case.
Yeah. If this new dude taking over Doctor Who doesn't work out, we've got you covered. But today we're going to tackle the Transformers.
Yep. Sounds like a plan.
Yeah. So we've both forced ourselves to watch these movies again this week, or at least some of them.
That was painful, Adam.
Yes.
I hope you realise the sacrifice I've made for you here.
Yeah. Oh, I did the same thing. They're pretty horrible. So, I think we'll start with you. What would... Well, first off, what do you identify as being wrong with these movies?
Well,
why are these horrible movies while other movies can be some big dumb fun?
I mean, in fairness, I don't hate the first one.
That's fair.
So, I mean, and I guess the reason I enjoy the first one more is it's not relying on special effects 80% of the time. You've only got a small band of Autobots, a very small band of Decepticons, and they're just looking for something that has fallen to Earth. I don't know, it seems like it's a bit simpler. They played it a little bit safer, and that sort of worked for the first one. Once you get into the second and the third and the fourth and the fifth, for God's sake, like, you spend half your time on like alien spaceships where the background texture is so intricate and detailed that the Transformers themselves blend into it, and there's just too much going on the screen. There's, you've got dozens upon dozens of robots fighting each other, and you can't tell who is who. Like, there's just too much. I'd sort of try and make the Transformers a little bit more distinct and focus less on the special effects. probably try and work in more practical effects, because I think they tried to do that in the first one as well. They actually built replicas of some of the Transformers, and then that sort of, I don't know, I think that just worked a little bit better. I would definitely cut most of the human characters.
Yes, I wanted to raise that the human characters seem to be consistently awful,
cringeworthy. Like I cannot sit through a scene where Shia LaBeouf's parents are on screen without cringing the entire time. Like they are just the most painful characters to watch. I don't understand why they need to be in the film. Even in the first one, they were terrible.
So and like, the leads as well. Like you've got the first three. You've got Shia LaBeouf, who anyone who knows me knows that I'm not the world's biggest Shia LaBeouf fan. I know he's since supposedly come out with some better movies, but it's still like it still feels to me movies that do well with him in it seem to be doing well despite him, Shia LaBeouf, not because he's there. Yeah, he's not a great actor to me at all.
I haven't seen much of his recent stuff, so I can't comment. Most of my exposure to Shia LaBeouf has been Indiana Jones 4, the parody, and Transformers, so I don't really have the best opinion of him either.
Spielberg really wanted to make him big at one point. Those two movies, but I know there was one that came out that he was in this year, which made $6 at the UK box office. Which is
one person bought one ticket.
One person bought a ticket, and there was a lot of debate about whether that one person was Shia LaBeouf.
Is that where that gif comes from, where he's sitting alone in a theatre clapping?
I don't know, but so his character's horrible. Megan Fox. There's always, all of these movies have a character, whether it's Megan Fox in the first two, what's her name, Rosie Huntington-Whiteley. The third one.
I can never remember the names of them.
And then there's a young lady in the fourth one who the actress's name escapes me, but they make it very clear that she's underage, and you still get all the same look at this hot girl shots. And that's all they're there for, is to be eye candy. And it's
and like even in the first one where they're trying to set Megan Fox up as someone who knows about cars and who's got more than just looks to her, and they still. She's looking at a car, but she's bent over, and you're looking at her.
Trying to make Megan Fox a car expert worked about as well as the introduction of Dr. Christmas Jones in the James Bond franchise. It's just
and
not
the single worst one-liner ever.
The way these characters were played as like smart people, introduced as very smart, intelligent people, and then filled with dumb dialogue,
and then always turning to the less experienced bloke for advice. It's not good. And they're both very similar in that respect. The humans, all of them. Actually, I will pay one. I watched Age of Extinction last night. I don't know if you've seen. I have, but not recently.
I didn't mind Stanley Tucci's character. I think, and this brings me to my next point, I think if the movie had focused around the Transformers more and just had Stanley Tucci as a side character coming in, that would have been fine. Because you have to have some humans, particularly if they're on Earth. You have to have some human characters. But I'm sick of them being the main character.
It's not really what the movie should be about.
I like Mark Wahlberg as much as the next guy, but it's not needed. But if you focus around the Transformers, that then forces the filmmakers and the screenwriters and whoever else is involved in these things to give the Transformers character. Because if I was making these films, that's the first thing I'd do, is try and get distinct characters into these and by distinct characters, I don't mean insert racial stereotype here. Because most of them are.
And that's sort of how you tell them apart half the time. Which accent is this one doing?
You've got this one with a very stereotypical Asian accent who is acting like a samurai all the time, or you've got this one here with a southern accent who's fat and shoots guns, and it's like, why?
Or the twins that are ghetto and seemingly illiterate.
And so not only is it offensive, it's not interesting.
No.
It's like we've been through this with Star Wars already, and it got slaughtered. If Star Wars is getting slaughtered for having characters that are just walking racial stereotypes in those prequel movies, and that's Star Wars. That's almost untouchable material in Hollywood, and that gets slaughtered for it. Why did the Transformers feel they need to do that in 2017? Is that what we're up to? Yes, it is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to tell some days.
Yeah. But so the first thing I do is that. So you got Optimus. Optimus Prime has character to him. He's sort of the noble leader.
Yeah. And Bumblebee.
Bumblebee has some.
Yeah.
He's a foil. He's a good foil.
Yeah.
Character, Bumblebee. He has the rebellious teenager thing going on, which I don't know how old he's meant to be. Probably a few hundred millennia old or something.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the what was it? The Allspark or whatever they were chasing in the first movie had supposedly been on Earth for hundreds of years. So and Bumblebee was supposed to be the character that launched that into space. So I'd give him at least 1,000.
Yeah. Yeah, so he's still in definitely rebellious teenager phase.
Yeah.
But no, you've got those two characters, and then I can't really think of what the characters are beyond very broad, like, this is their role.
Yeah.
Like, even someone like Megatron is like, he's evil.
Yeah.
See? He speaks with deep voice.
Yeah,
and does nasty things.
Yeah. I know, I think, that would be one of my first points to tackle, almost plot-wise even, would be to... I mean, they're called the Decepticons. I'd like to see them do some deceiving.
Yeah.
Like, every time you see a human working for the Decepticons, it's always under threat of death.
And that you never see... you could get them... They transform into cars, for God's sake. They can go anywhere.
Yeah. Or helicopters, planes, whatever else.
Yeah. Dinosaurs, you know. Yeah, it's very nondescript.
Yeah. And like, you could so easily set it up where Decepticons and Autobots arrive on Earth at the same point. They're like, right, we're after this very powerful thing. It's like, we need some help so that these guys don't get it. And then, you know, you present two different points of view of this war, which we never know why it started. I assume Megatron was a little bit too Hitler. And then, like, actually force the humans to make a conscious choice. Who are they helping? Is it just these arbitrary guys that showed up first, or is it, you know, and then, you know, let the Decepticons actually live up to their namesake a bit.
Yeah. So you did mention that. Why did this war start?
Yeah.
That would be an interesting thing to cover. Because at the moment I know about as much about why that war started as I do about why World War One started. Which is, it just did.
Yeah. Some bloke got shot and someone got pissy.
Yeah.
That's how these things generally go.
Yeah. No, I think it's just the little details. Like, there's been big, dumb, fun movies before that I've given quite positive reviews to.
Yeah.
Just earlier this year, I gave quite a positive review to Kong Skull Island.
Oh, yeah.
Which follows a lot of the same beats as Transformers. You've got the human characters struggling in the shadows. You've got the big, huge monsters destroying things in their path. I mean, Kong Skull Island chose not to take Kong into a big city, which is always nice.
Yeah.
But but you know, like it's just the little things that Kong does that makes a better movie. I think Transformers should look at that. Not that they will. Not that they're worried at all about what we think of the movie. But it's just the little details.
Yeah.
Like the start of Age of Extinction, you've got this character walks into the Arctic, and there's a hunk of metal shaped like a dinosaur that they've dug up. And this lady is dragged in to investigate it. And at one point she has the line, "We're geologists. This could change the world. This is our job." And
as a geologist, I find this very offensive.
Yeah, I'm like, first off, no.
Archaeologist, paleontologist.
Yeah, any other job other than geologist is probably... You're in the Arctic. I mean, the Arctic is notable for being ice that's floating.
Could go into some rather like in-depth science about why a geologist might be up there, but honestly, I don't think they did the Google search.
No, and it's just little things like that.
Yeah.
Like, you get that in the opening scene before you've even seen a Transformer. You get something like that, and it just knocks you right out of the movie. You're already rooting against this film. You're like, it's stupid. Even 2012 did more research than this.
Did they?
I think 2012 at least knew which scientist was which.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, because they definitely didn't do any science.
Oh, no, they didn't do any science. But, yeah, it's just those little things. I think every Transformers movie has those little niggles just throughout the movie.
Yeah.
Where it's like, why did you do that?
Yeah. And they certainly don't explain much in the way of motivation for anyone really, besides, oh, my car just turned into a robot, I should probably help him out.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Don't hurt my car, he's mine now, but also his own person and my best friend, but we can't really talk. It's
yeah.
If you sit there and accept it for what it is, you can enjoy it, but as soon as you start thinking about it, it all falls apart.
Yeah. Whereas like something like, say, I won't use King Kong because I've used that the last 12 times. For example. Something like Pacific Rim. So that's a great one to compare to Transformers because it is giant robots smashing things.
Yeah.
But again, like every character in Pacific Rim, some of them aren't the best written characters, but they've all got purpose within the story. They're not there to be eye candy. They're not there to be, we need to fill out as many top rank actors as possible into this film. It's just there to tell this story.
Yeah.
And if you think about it too much, you're like, well, the story's very basic.
Yeah.
But it doesn't stop you from just going, okay, but it's fun. This robot just picked up a shipping crate and smashed it in the face of a sea monster. Like,
yeah, I think. Yeah, I suppose Pacific Rim, I got the feeling it didn't try and take itself too seriously.
No, and that's the other thing with Transformers.
Yeah.
There's no humour at all in these movies. They just, when there is, it falls flat.
There's attempts at humour that results in just a cringe more than anything else.
Yeah. And then so much of the movie, it's like, this is so self-important.
Yeah.
Like, Age of Extinction is the one I keep going back to because it's the one I watched last night. And, like, there's all these scenes about, oh, how bad is government surveillance and, oh, how nasty is the CIA for keeping secrets.
Yeah.
So this is not there are movies which can tell those stories. Snowden. Like... Yeah.
You don't need that to be the subplot of Transformers.
Yeah, yes. You know, like something about Julian Assange, sure. Let's delve into that topic.
Yeah.
You know, a drama about surveillance. Good. Let's do that. This is the Transformers.
Yeah.
Why are we focusing so much on whether Kelsey Grammer's CIA agent is a good guy or not? So, everything's just annoying. You just need to focus on the Transformers.
Yeah.
Get a sense of humour about it.
Yeah, that would definitely help. I mean,
build up the Transformers characters. Only use a human character when the plot demands it.
Yes.
And then you've got fine movies. These movies could be a great space sci-fi franchise.
Yeah. I mean...
But they just...
yeah. Like, there's just...
They just churn it out without any care.
Yeah, and I suppose this comes back to that point at the start of it being an easy target. Like, there's just so many things you could pick on here.
Yeah.
I don't even know where to start now.
Yeah. it's like, there's just little bits. Like, there's bits in all of them where it's just genuinely, obviously there because a company paid for product placement.
Yeah.
And we just need an advert. There's a bit, it's the most egregious thing I've ever seen in film, in Age of Extinction. There's a bit, Mark Wahlberg gets out of a car and it's like the city's collapsed. There's a Transformers fighting everywhere, and some random guy's car got smashed up a bit in the front. You know, the chaos. You know, other people are dead around him, but his car got dented in the bloody engine bonnet. Anyway, he gets out and goes, "Ooh, you better have insurance." And Mark Wahlberg turns to him, goes, "Insurance? Have you noticed there's an alien invasion? Go away." Picks up a beer out of this other guy's boot, smashes it, like, clips it open on the side of the car, turns the beer so that the label of the Budweiser is facing the camera, looks into the camera, takes one swig, throws the bottle away. Movie continues. I'm like, that was an advert. They just put a full advert in the middle of this movie. And, just things like that you can pick on. You can pick on that. You can pick on the entire scene dedicated to why it's okay to ogle at this 17-year-old girl.
Yeah.
It's yes. So it is an easy target, but it doesn't need to be.
Yeah.
I think that's how we can sum this up.
Yeah, pretty much.
But what I also wanted to go into, the Transformers isn't just a linear story anymore. Welcome to the age of cinematic universes, everybody.
Not another
Coming soon, the Transformers Cinematic Universe. They've announced a Bumblebee spin-off.
Yay! Character who can't talk.
And they've announced another spin-off which will focus on what the Transformers were doing in medieval times. Because if there was one movie if there was one movie that really hit home this year so far, it was King Arthur.
Yeah, that's definitely got many positive reviews.
Everyone went to see it as well.
That was
such a resounding success.
Yeah,
they need to do it with Transformers now.
Yeah. What are they going to transform into? Bloody carts that's going to get towed by a horse or something, or is there going to be a Transformers horse to tow the Transformers cart? I don't understand.
Well, this is what we get to look forward to. So, I mean, both of them have problems. The Bumblebee, again, it's something we were discussing last week. The idea of the foil becoming the lead of a movie.
Yeah.
Characters that are really popular in the background. The Minions, we've talked about them earlier today.
Yeah.
Jack Sparrow in the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise.
Yeah.
These characters who work in the background as a comic relief and then get pushed into the front of these films and it stops working.
Yeah.
That's going to be the same with Bumblebee. He's fine as sort of Optimus Prime's sidekick / muscle / rebellious son / whatever role he's playing this movie.
Yeah.
But focusing on him for a whole movie, I just can't see anything other than disaster.
Yeah.
So again,
especially when you can't give him any dialogue or anything to develop the character. Really,
his entire dialogue is sound bites off the radio.
Yeah, it's
which leads me again, following on this. Could you do better? I'm gonna say, pretend you're in charge of Paramount Pictures.
Okay.
Well done on that. You've got nothing. You've got nothing of any note.
Yep.
You get to choose what the spin-offs are for Transformers.
Okay.
What would you spin off to?
I'd probably go back to Cybertron. How did the war start?
Yes, I was thinking something similar.
I would definitely stay somewhere where there is technology that you can transform into. Not the Middle Ages. Yeah, I'd definitely like to, because I'm trying to think back. Was the idea that Megatron and Optimus were brothers or something in one?
I really don't know.
I feel like I recall Optimus saying, "Sorry, brother," or something or other to Megatron. So, seeing their backstory, how they got to where they are, leaders of the opposing sides.
I think I'd almost like to see the more for the relationship explored. I know it's hard now with the voice actor Leonard Nimoy passing away, but Sentinel Prime.
Oh from Dark of the Moon.
Yeah, in the third one, that's got promise. That idea of sort of like here's Optimus Prime's mentor.
Yeah,
and sort of superior.
Yeah.
Turning against him.
Yeah, just
it's almost the reverse Darth Vader thing from Star Wars.
Yeah,
just about his mentor versus student, and that's been done before, but it's been done well before.
Yeah,
like it's the most interesting part of the early Mission Impossible movies is student versus mentor.
Yeah,
yep. It's a story that's been done, but it's one you can do well.
Yeah, and
I think that would have been interesting. As I said, hard now that they sort of had Leonard Nimoy voice the character in the movie.
I mean,
You could get someone else in, but it's such a distinctive voice.
Yeah, I mean, unless you're going for a younger voice or something like that, I don't know how you really play that. But that would definitely be an interesting
There's a young Spock walking around if you want to go full symmetry.
Yeah, potentially.
Yeah. But now anything that's in space, it's implied heavily that the Transformers have gone to other civilizations.
Yeah, well, I don't think it's implied. I think it's specifically stated in the second one.
That they go to these other planets and they've been there a lot, and that they sort of adapt to the technology and change. So I'd love to see that.
Yeah.
Let's see that. Let's leave Earth. I know what Earth's like.
Yeah.
I've been to Earth.
Yeah, it's bloody dull sometimes.
Yeah, it's like, why are we on Earth all the time?
Yeah.
Like, if you're doing a sci-fi thing, get off Earth. But it's just, I think that basically covers it though.
I mean, get off Earth.
Get off Earth.
Go back to Cybertron.
Yeah.
See what's going on there.
Add some mythology.
Yeah.
There's no mythology to this.
No,
it's just, hey, look, here's some robot car things.
Yeah.
They fight.
I mean, you could so easily slip any of the Roman, Greek, Norse mythologies into there. I mean, you could have a Thor robot who's his thing is lightning, or a Zeus robot.
Yeah.
There's
instead it sounds like
Prometheus with the fire. Like, there's so many things you could do.
To be fair, it does sound like they're going to do that in this new one, with Merlin perhaps being Transformer technology.
Well, of course. What else?
Yes.
How else do you explain Merlin?
Yes. Because Merlin was definitely historical fact.
Yep, absolutely.
Anyway, that about wraps up the show for this week. I'd like to thank Kieran for joining us today.
Always a pleasure.
I'm sure we'll have him back.
Oh, yep, sure. Sounds great. No, I'd love to come back. This has been fun.
Awesome. And is there anything you want to plug or say or anything?
Geology rocks. I don't know. You can edit that out.
Sure.
That's fine.
Sure.
No, I think I'm good.
And you can find me on Twitter at a Bloody Critic, all lowercase. That wraps up for this week. Join us next week. We'll be reviewing the new Transformers movie.
You poor soul.
Should be fun. Also doing a couple of reviews next week. There will also be a review for the new Cars movie, which I can't wait for that.
Again, you poor soul.
And we'll also be looking into the filmography of Will Ferrell, which will be an interesting...
Well, that could be fun.
Interesting discussion, I think.
Yep.
So until then, see ya.
See ya.